The complete story of Mark Zuckerberg, **A. A curious child is born. Mark Elliott Zuckerberg was born on May 14, 1984, in White Plains, New York. He grew up in a well-educated family. His father was a dentist, and his mother was a psychiatrist. From a very young age, Mark showed an unusual curiosity for how things worked. While other children were playing with toys, Mark was busy taking things apart and asking questions no one else asked. At the age of 10, his father bought him a computer. That moment changed Mark's life forever. The beginning of a coding mind. Mark didn't just play games on the computer. He wanted to understand the logic behind them. He began learning programming languages like BASIC and later C++. By middle school, he was already building simple programs. One of his earliest creations was a messaging program called Zuckerberg, which allowed his father's dental office to communicate with their home. It was basic, but it was powerful for a child. Confidence beyond his age. Teachers quickly realized Mark was different. He was not just intelligent, he was focused. He skipped grades in math and science and won multiple awards, despite being socially awkward. He had a quiet confidence in his abilities. Mark believed one thing deeply: technology could connect people in ways never imagined before. Dreams take shape during high school at Phillips Exeter Academy. Mark created software that attracted attention from big companies like Microsoft and AOL. They offered him jobs, but Mark refused. Why? Because he had bigger dreams. Entering Harvard University. Mark enrolled at Harvard University in 2002. He studied psychology and computer science, an unusual combination that later became his secret weapon. Psychology taught him how people think. Computer science taught him how to build systems together. They created something revolutionary. FaceMash. The first controversy in his second year at Harvard, Mark created FaceMash, a website that allowed students to rate each other's attractiveness. It went viral overnight, but it also caused outrage. Harvard shut it down. Mark almost got expelled. But one thing became clear: he knew how to build platforms people couldn't stop using. The birth of Facebook. In February 2004, Mark launched the Facebook from his dorm room. It was a simple idea, a social directory for Harvard students. Within weeks, thousands joined soon. Other universities demanded access. The revolution had begun. Harvard left behind. Mark faced a life-changing decision: stay at Harvard or chase the dream? At just 19 years old, he dropped out of Harvard to focus on Facebook full-time. Many thought he was crazy. History would prove them wrong. Investors and early money. Facebook attracted early investors, including Peter Thiel, who invested $500,000. This funding allowed Mark to scale Facebook rapidly, but Mark made one critical decision: kept control of the company. That single choice made him a future billionaire. Journey to Silicon Valley. Mark moved Facebook's headquarters to Silicon Valley. The culture was fast, competitive, and brutal. Mistakes were expensive. Failures were public. Mark learned leadership the hard way through lawsuits, betrayals, and pressure. Key lawsuits and betrayals. The Winklevoss twins sued Mark, claiming he stole their idea. Friends turned into enemies. Trust was broken. Mark settled the case, but the emotional scars remained. Power always has a price. Learning to lead. Mark was not a natural leader. He was introverted, awkward, uncomfortable in public. But he learned. He hired smart people. He listened. He adapted slowly. He transformed from a coder into a CEO. Monetization through ADS's Facebook introduced targeted advertising. Using user data, advertisers could reach specific audiences. This strategy turned Facebook into a money machine. Billions of dollars began flowing in. New acquisitions. Mark made bold moves. Instagram 2012, WhatsApp 2014, Oculus VR. Critics mocked him for overpaying. Time proved him right. One of the youngest billionaires at age 23. Mark Zuckerberg became the world's youngest self-made billionaire, but money didn't change his lifestyle much. He wore simple clothes, he lived modestly, His focus stayed on building, not spending. Privacy scandals. Facebook faced massive criticism over data privacy. The Cambridge Analytica scandal shook the world, Mark was called before. Congress trust was damaged. This was one of the darkest chapters of his life. Q, questioning his own creation, Mark, began questioning the impact of Facebook. Fake news addiction, mental health issues. He realized technology had power, not all of it good. Rebranding to Meta in 2021. Mark rebranded Facebook's parent company to Meta. His vision shifted to the metaverse, a digital future combining VR, AR, and AI. Once again, critics laughed. Once again, Mark moved forward. Setbacks and massive losses. Meta lost billions. In value, stock prices fell. Employees were laid off. People said, Zuckerberg is finished, but he had heard that before. Turning toward AI, Mark pivoted toward artificial intelligence. Meta invested heavily in AI research, open source models, and next-generation computing. Slowly, confidence returned. You understanding long-term vision, Mark Dosen? Build for today. He builds for 10 to 20 years ahead. That mindset separates visionaries from followers. Values and philanthropy. Mark and his wife Priscilla Chan pledged to donate 99% of their wealth to education, science, and health. They focused on curing diseases, not just making money. Work ethic and discipline. Mark works relentlessly. He reads, he codes, he studies history and philosophy. His discipline is his hidden strength. XX factor. Control. And like many founders, Mark never gave up control of Meta. This allowed him to take risks. Others could end. Control gave him freedom. Why? Young minds. He inspired millions of young entrepreneurs. See Mark as proof that age doesn't matter, background doesn't matter, ideas matter. The final lesson. Mark Zuckerberg's story is not just about money. It's about money. It's about curiosity, courage, failure, vision, persistence, from a quiet boy with a computer to one of the most powerful tech leaders in history. Final message. Mark Zuckerberg became rich not because he chased money, but because he chased impact. Meta. The present-day story of Mark Zuckerberg's complete a 2Z. Narrative A company that changed its name to change the future in the present era. Mark Zuckerberg's company is no longer just Facebook. It is Meta Platforms, Inc., a name chosen not to escape the past, but to define the future. Meta represents a bold idea. A world where digital life, physical life, artificial intelligence, and virtual reality merge into one continuous experience. This is not just a company. It is an experiment on humanity's next chapter. Beyond social media. Once, Facebook was simply a website where people shared photos and status updates. Today, Meta controls a massive digital ecosystem. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, Threads, Meta, AI, Oculus, MetaQuest. Horizon Worlds. Meta is no longer about social networking. It is about human connection at scale. See crisis that forced transformation. The present Meta exists because the old Facebook nearly collapsed. Under pressure, privacy scandals, political manipulation, loss of public trust, government investigations. By 2019 to 2020, Facebook was seen by many as dangerous, outdated, and irresponsible. Mark Zuckerberg realized one truth: if the company did not evolve, it would die. Decision to rebuild from the inside instead of defending the past. Mark chose to redesign the future. He did not just change products. He changed the company's identity, structure, and mission. Facebook became only one app inside a much larger vision. That vision was Meta. Enter the metaverse. Metaverse is the heart of Meta's present strategy. It is a digital universe where people can work, learn, play, socialize, build businesses using virtual reality VR, augmented reality AR, artificial intelligence AI, Meta believes the metaverse will be as important as the internet itself. Fear, doubt, and public mockery when Mark announced Meta in 2021. The reaction was brutal. Investors panicked. Journalists mocked. Users were confused. Meta's stock price collapsed. Billions of dollars were lost. People said, Zuckerberg has lost his mind. But history shows Mark builds during doubt. Ground-level reality. Employees and pressure inside Meta. Pressure was extreme. Deadlines were tight. Expectations were unrealistic. Competition from Apple, Google, Microsoft, and TikTok was fierce. Thousands of engineers worked day and night to turn science fiction into reality. Many failed. Many quit. Many were laid off. But progress continued. Hardware. The Meta Quest revolution. Meta invested heavily in VR hardware. The Meta Quest headsets became the most popular VR devices in the world. Affordable, wireless, standalone. These headsets were not profitable at first, but they were strategic, Mark believed. Control the platform, control the future. Instagram in the present. Your Instagram remains one of Meta's strongest assets. Reels compete directly with TikTok. AI-powered recommendations keep users engaged. Creators, brands, influencers. Instagram has become a global digital economy. Without Instagram, Meta would have fallen much faster. Job cuts and hard choices to survive. Meta made painful decisions. Tens of thousands of employees were laid off. Mark publicly admitted, I hired too many people. It was a rare moment of vulnerability from a CEO. Meta shifted from growth at all costs to efficiency. Knowledge powered by AI. Artificial intelligence is now central to Meta's present identity. Meta AI powers content recommendation, advertising, chatbots, image and video generation, moderation systems. Meta's open-source AI models changed the industry. Instead of hiding technology, Meta shared it. Laws, regulation, and global pressure. Meta faces constant legal challenges, privacy laws, data protection, antitrust investigations, content moderation, rules. Every country wants control over Meta's power. Meta must now balance innovation with responsibility. Money. How Meta still makes billions despite challenges. Meta remains massively profitable. Advertising is still the core engine, AI-driven. Targeting allows businesses to reach customers with precision. Even critics admit Meta's business model still new platforms. Threads and experiments. Meta continues experimenting. Threads was launched to challenge Twitter X. Some experiments fail. Some succeed. Mark believes experimentation is survival. Oculus 2, Meta Reality Labs. Reality Labs is Meta. Its most expensive division. It loses billions, but represents the future. VR offices. Virtual classrooms. Digital concerts. Reality Labs is where Meta bets its future. Public image of Mark Zuckerberg today. The present Mark Zuckerberg is different. More calm, more strategic, more focused. He trains martial arts. He speaks less, but more precisely. He no longer wants popularity. He wants legacy. Question: is Meta too powerful? Critics argue Meta controls too much of human communication. Supporters argue Meta connects the world. The truth lies somewhere in between. Meta is powerful, but power comes with responsibility. Resilience. After massive losses, Meta lost hundreds of billions in market value, then recovered. This resilience shocked critics. Mark's refusal to quit saved the company. Strategy for the next 10 years. Meta's present roadmap includes AI-first platforms, wearable, AR glasses, smarter, virtual assistants, creator-driven economies, decentralized identity. Meta is thinking decades ahead. Technology over trends. And like many tech companies, Meta does not chase trends. It builds infrastructure. Infrastructure lasts longer than hype. Users. Billions still connected despite criticism. Billions still use Meta apps daily. That scale is unmatched. Human connection remains. Meta's foundation, vision that refuses to die. Meta's vision is risky, but every revolutionary idea once looked foolish. The internet itself was once mocked. Work culture transformation. Meta is no longer move fast and break things. It is now move smart and build responsibly. X factor. Founder control. Mark Zuckerberg still controls Meta. This allows long-term thinking, no quarterly panic. Few CEOs have this freedom. Why? Young innovators watching closely. Millions of young developers and entrepreneurs study Meta. They learn from both its success and mistakes. Z. The final reality. Meta today is not perfect, not loved by everyone, not always successful, but it is alive, evolving, and still shaping the future. Final. Sesagia. Meta is the story of a company that refused to remain what it was in the present era. Mark Zuckerberg's company stands at the edge of the future, building worlds that do not yet exist, solving problems humanity has not fully defined. Whether Meta succeeds or fails, one truth is certain: it will never be ignored.